After a fantastic start to our Champions League campaign, our first season in Europe in the whole of this series so far, it all gets a little bit real today, as in our third game in the group, we play against reigning Champions League holders and 10 times consecutive Bundesliga winners, Borussia Dortmund. This is going to get messy. Hello and welcome to Season 19, Episode 4 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode, we're at home against Norwich in the Premier League before an all-important home game in the Champions League against Dortmund. Since you were last with me, form has been, we'll say, mixed. We did have a fantastic result in the Champions League against Angers. I still don't know how you say that. No one's told me in the comments how to say that team, so I assume I'm saying it roughly right, even though I'm saying it multiple ways. But Premier League form has been really mixed. We lost to Watford, we lost to Stoke, but losing to Stoke is expected. Losing to Watford, not so much. We did thump Palace with our reserve team in the EFL Cup, although looking at the goal scorers, it wasn't that much of a reserve team, so yeah, read into that what you will. But we then came back to beat Liverpool in our most recent game. So it's not a disaster in the Premier League yet. We're in 9th place with a game in hand. But a win today, if we win this game in hand that we're playing against Norwich, could push us all the way up to 5th if we win by enough goals. More realistically, a win puts us in 6th place. But remember, Norwich not only have traditionally been a bit of a difficult team for us to get by, but their key player is this man, Rashid Arab. We sold him to them last year. He only got 14 goals for them, but 4 of them were against us. So expect him to be a bit of a worry for them today. So our team for this game, we are rotating a little bit. We've got one eye on Dortmund. We've already identified in previous episodes it's going to be a difficulty this season because we're having to try and balance the squad out between the two different competitions, and games really do come thick and fast. I am resting the players in training after every game pretty much, but even so, some of the condition levels of these players is a worry. But we're a little bit rotated. So we've got Diaz in goal. Igor is training again, but not close to fit again. Realistically, he's probably not going to be back for Dortmund either. So Diaz is in goal. He's been doing fine, but I am looking forward to having Igor back. Then we've got a back four of Nijhuis, Plotnikov, Caetano and Ndai. Sedman, Medor and Ziyech are in midfield. That's right, I'm finally playing Medor in the midfield 3. It's been quite the discussion topic in the comments. He's been here nearly a year now and never really played in this system, but he does play really well when we do the 4-3-3, so it's only fair to give him a try in this lineup as well. Then Sandy Patterson gets a rare start in behind Vendrig and Ijo. That's right, Vendrig, our current top scorer for this season, finally gets a Premier League start. This is an important game. If we lose today, we start to lose touch with the teams above us a little bit. We've had a number of poor results recently, despite doing incredibly well in the Champions League, and we need to make sure that we don't. We've said it before. We need to make sure that we're not one of these teams. Oh, it's our first season in Europe. Not that it's Tottenham's first season in Europe. They had one season out of Europe. It was last season. That's why the previous manager was fired and I came in. So I was going to say the players should be used to it, but actually I signed an entirely new team, didn't I? So they're perhaps not. But they're all... Oh, see, that's 3 minutes on the clock and Arab's already scored. For goodness sake. I mean, 9 points away from Man City after just 8 games is too much to catch up in any universe. And we'd quietly hoped that this might be the season we start to challenge for the Premier League, but clearly it's not going to happen. Expecting an improvement in the league in the same year as you make it into the Champions League for the first time is always a bit of a challenge. We need to get used to doing it. I need to get used to rotating the squad properly and working out which games to play which players in, and should I actually be resting players for the Dortmund game because we're going to lose anyway, and making sure we beat Norwich in the league. It's those kind of little decisions that you only learn with experience, and experience, despite being 19 years into the save, is something I'm distinctly lacking when it comes to the combination of Premier League and Champions League football. It's all come on a little bit fast. I don't know what weird formation Norwich are playing either. They're really, really defensive. I think they're a little bit afraid of us. Vendrig almost put Ijo in, but Ijo wins the ball back and Ijo forces a save out of the Norwich keeper, and we're a little bit unfortunate not to win a corner out of that. But Ijo doing well. I am really worried about the condition of our players, though. So many of them already below 80% conditioning in the first half. This is going to be a problem the longer the season goes on. I just don't know if we've got enough players, which seems Diaz. I mean, he's just about cementing Igor's place back in the side. I said he'd been doing okay. He's obviously realised he doesn't need to be playing now. So just to make sure I don't accidentally continue to play him, he wants to remind me why we spent £50 million on a goalkeeper last January. Anyway, I mean that was just one of the worst pieces of goalkeeping I've ever seen. And I've had Kevin Thompson as my goalkeeper for 7 seasons. All that talk about how important this game is, and I'm going to get fired. If I'm not careful, we'll get out of our Champions League group by some miracle, but I'll end up getting fired before the knockout rounds start. I can see it coming. Because if we're mid-table, that's where the last manager got fired from. He was around this... Sedman's just got a goal back, and I don't really know why he was stood where he was. It was a very advanced position for Sedman to be stood in. In fact, the whole of the midfield had pushed on. There's a strong argument we should have had a penalty anyway. Patterson brought down on the edge of the box, but we don't need it. Sedman tucks the ball away. The way our luck has been at the moment, I wouldn't have been surprised if that had been disallowed, called back for a penalty, only for us to then miss it. But we've got a chance. We can get back into this. We need to get back into this. I don't want to get sacked while we're still in Europe. I don't mind getting sacked afterwards. If we fail at everything, that's fine. Oh, for goodness sake. Norwich have become a bogey team, and it's really... When we were at Ipswich, we had Norwich's number when it was the East Anglian derby. Since we've moved on, they just beat us every time we play them. And I don't get why. I don't know why it's such a problem game for us. They're not one of the best teams in the Premier League. They are presumably slightly higher reputation than us. That's why Arab went there. But look at the state of the ratings. Look at the state of the condition. I don't even know what to do to fix this. We've decided we're calling him Oscar, I think, because I'm getting told in the comments that I keep saying his name wrong. So let's just remove his surname completely. I know that's not Oscar, it's Oscar. I'm going to be calling him Oscar because I can't say Oscar without doing that weird thing where I try and pronounce it properly and it doesn't sound right. No, they can come on as well. I mean, really, we shouldn't be having to mess around like this against a team like Norwich. I wonder if the players are distracted by the Champions League. We've not rotated that much. Almost all of our stars are in this starting 11 today. Nyhouse is now getting sent off. What is happening? And there he goes. And we don't have a left-back on the bench. I toyed with the idea of taking him off. He was playing really poorly, but I didn't have another left-back on the bench, so I thought, no, I'll leave him on. I'm going to take Vendrig off. Damage limitation mode. Ericsson can come on and slot straight in at left-back. In fact, we might put Plotnikov out there. And we'll just make Oscar a shadow striker. And just tell him to be two players. He needs to be the attacking midfielder and the complete forward. He costs £72 million. He should be able to do both. Right, Sedman to Oscar to Plotnikov. You spend, £60 million on a centre-back and move him out to left-back because why not? And Dye makes the challenge. Sedman again to Ziyech. Nole is in here. Can he score? Of course he blooming can't. I mean, look at those stats. We've been all over Norwich today. I'm being really negative, but we have controlled this game. We have been the better team. We've beaten them on every stat apart from blooming goals. And it's so frustrating when this happens. But we have to try and take the positives out of it. Tick that off your cliche bingo list. Because we have played well. We have had far more shots, far more on target. We've had the same number of clear-cut chances. We've had more possession. We've just lost the game. And that's 3 defeats in 4 Premier League games now. I've got to be teetering on the brink of a vote of confidence here. We've ridiculously got ourselves in the position where we need to beat Dortmund just to keep the hounds off my back. It's not even a phrase. Do people say hounds off your back? That's how annoyed I am. I'm making up my own cliches now. Get new bingo cards for everyone. We're taking a bit of a risk for the Dortmund game. Igor's not close to match fit, but we haven't got time to play him back into match fitness. You all saw how pathetic Diaz was in the last game. So Igor comes back in at the expense of Diaz. Other than that, we've got our proper first choice back four in place again with Plotnikov and Eriksson reunited together at the heart of the back four, and Oscar comes back in for Sandy Patterson. Other than that, it's the same team that just couldn't beat Norwich. So we now need to go and beat the current European champions and 10 times consecutive Bundesliga winners. Easy. Oh, yes, it's going to be hard. You're telling me it's going to be hard to get a result? Oh, right. This could be a massacre. It looks like Real Madrid beat them though, because they're down in third place at the moment. I mean, imagine being a Dortmund fan. They're coming here thinking that they've got to win because they've already lost against Real Madrid. And at the moment, they're only third in the group as holders, but they're not going to have any issues because we've less than a minute on the clock. We're 1-0 down. I warned you it could be a massacre. Strap yourselves in for this one. We might be about to discover that the 4-3-3 is going to be our permanent all games formation, because if the 4-3-1-2 is just not going to work anymore. Oh, don't make drastic tactical decisions against the best club side in the world. The Norwich game, we dominated. It was unlucky that we didn't win. If we lose against Dortmund, that's fine. We're supposed to lose against Dortmund. But goodness me, am I going to be grumpy about it if we have yet another episode where we lose both games. Right, Ziyech, just stick it in the top corner. Nyhouse, crosses. Ijo's there and it's 1-1. There you go. See, we've got a goal back. Ijo, with his 8th of the season, puts us back to the top of the group where we're supposed to be. And Nyhouse redeeming himself a little bit for his red card in the last game with a lovely little tempting cross. Ijo and Vendrig are both there ready to tuck it away. It ends up falling for Ijo. It's 1-1, and we need to keep an eye on Medor's fitness. He's started 2 games in a row for the first time since he's been at Tottenham. 2 games in 4 days, and he seems shattered by it, which is a bit of a problem. Plotnikov intercepts. But the player who was challenging has got him behind him, but luckily did absolutely nothing with it. Igor, hopefully not too exhausted, not match fit, but how match fit do you need to be as a goalkeeper? He's fit, that should be fine. Vendrig's in behind, squares it for Ijo, and it's 2-1. Oh, forget all that negativity at the start of the match. We're now 3 points clear at the top of the group as it stands, 6 points away from Dortmund. We could afford to go there and lose and still get through our group if it ends like this. There's a nice little thought, because we've already been to Real Madrid and won. We could win the group. Oh, yeah. How do you lot keep up with some of these mood swings that I have in the middle of an episode? I need to start recording and then doing a voiceover afterwards so that you don't think I'm completely insane, because I listen to them back sometimes when I'm editing them and don't understand how I can swing so quickly. But point the camera at me, I'll just start talking. Vendrig's made it 3-1. We've already scored 5 goals against Angers earlier in the group stage. It just shows how ridiculous Football Manager can be at times, that with pretty much the same players, playing exactly the same system, in the same ground, we can lose against Norwich, but then look like world beaters against the best team in the world. And this game, this is why it's so good, because if you could just pick the best team and the best tactic and win every game, it'd be so boring. At least this way, it adds a little bit of variety, but it's not good for my nerves. Ijo's in, almost made it 4. Really, that was better than either of the chances that he scored. You would have banked on him tucking that one away, but it's a good save from their keeper. Nyhouse obviously liked the fine I gave him after the last game, because he's weighing in with a man of the match performance and 2 assists. Perhaps I just need to fine all my players every time they don't play very well. Oscar's not turned up at all today, so we're going to bring Sir Brian on. That's 3 different attacking midfielders we've used in the last game, really. And we're also going to take off Medor and bring on Igor Anicic. Notice Wagner's not even on the bench at the moment. I'm finally starting to listen to you all. I realise Wagner's a good player, but there's no space for him in our team. And I think Anicic is a better option from the bench, because he is a little bit better at doing the central midfield defend role that Wagner just can't do. any other team that we've had at any point during the 19 seasons of this save, Wagner's the star player. It does show how much we've improved with Spurs, and Ziyech forcing a save out of the Dortmund keeper. And we're playing as well as we played against Norwich, but for today, it seems like the luck is going our way, and we've got a free kick in a dangerous position. We've got a number of players who can strike this. It's Sedman who's over it, and it goes over the bar. I would have rather seen Ziyech take that. He's scored a couple of absolute screamers earlier on in the season. Vendrick picks the ball up, finds Sabrian, back to Anicic, to Ziyech, to Ijo, out to Ndai. Can he whip in across? He does. Vendrick makes it 4. With 10 minutes to go, it's Tottenham Hotspur 4. Champions League holders, 10-time Bundesliga winners consecutively, Borussia Dortmund 1. And this game, goodness me, it is going to kill me one of these days. Right, I'm almost as angry about the fact that we're winning than I would be if we'd have lost, because it's so frustrating. Right, Patterson he can play in the midfield 3. I knew I'd used him there before. It might be his only route back into the team at this point, because Sabrian and Oscar both seem to be better options in front of him. Ziyech out to Nyhouse. Can we make it 5? Ijo can't quite get there before the goalkeeper does, but we're not. I mean, I guess as one of the best teams in the world, Dortmund probably aren't used to having a team just go gung-ho at them. I suspect it's similar to that FA Cup run we had with Ipswich while we were still in the Championship, and we just went and beat all the best teams in the Premier League because no one was expecting us to come and thump them and just attack. They've got a goal back. They could well bring it back to 4-4 quite easily. Stupider things have happened in games that I've been involved in, and I'd probably be less angry if they did, because at least then I'd understand that the game just wanted to punish me today. Ziyech with the corner. Patterson has won a penalty. In the last minute of the game, we have the opportunity to make it 5-2. This will be our second 5-2 win of the group stages. Who's number 19? I don't even remember who that is. Vendrick. There you go. Makes it 5. Is that his hat-trick? It is a hat-trick. Michael Vendrick has a hat-trick. I wondered why he was taking the penalty. Ijo was also on a hat-trick, was he not? So I'm a little bit surprised the senior player didn't take it, but I guess it's gone down to form and who is top goal scorer at the moment. So 5-2 against Borussia Dortmund. Didn't see that coming, did you? Because I certainly blooming didn't. And ridiculously, at the halfway point of the group stage, we have 3 wins from 3 games, 12 goals for, 5 against, 9 points. We're 6 points clear of Dortmund. I don't even know who we're playing next in the groups, but we're in a situation where we probably just need, another draw out of our last 3 games? 1 more win, certainly, and we're there. We're away against Dortmund next. In fact, there you go. There's almost tempting to do a triple header, but I think we probably have to do Arsenal and Dortmund, don't we? I don't think we've done a North London derby since we've been at Tottenham yet. So I guess our next episode is, they're so close together at the moment. It's the thing when you get into the Champions League, these seasons are going to get longer and longer, but we've got to do Arsenal and Dortmund, and then I guess we finish everything off with Real Madrid, maybe. Hopefully we'll be qualified by then, and we won't have to worry about the Champions League for a little while. Anyway, if you've enjoyed that, please make sure you pop a like on there for me, subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more, and thank you very much for watching.